Um, this is Margaret in Windsor. Um, that's my real name. I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 41 and brought to the United States from Moulton, Alabama, given the name of Peggy Childers. Childers, the married name. They gave me the name of a twin, Peggy, which both twins were dead. It was a pigsty where they dumped me. And that's only 40 miles from what became NASA in 57 and, well, early 50s, the space program, the Redstone Arsenal, Command Center, all of that. I've just tried to YouTube something, but if you care, you can go back on my other videos. I wanted to say this. I wrote a book about mind control back in 77, 78, about programming people to run up and shoot or however they wanted to kill or commit suicide, or how do you prove it? It doesn't show up in a video, well, doesn't show up in autopsy or forensics. One of the things was that the patterns that were done in this can prove it. But the thing I want to say here is one of the doctors I worked for, I knew that he had put a chip in a heart bypass. He's cardiovascular. I said that, I guess. And it's a way to program people without their knowledge, their decision making, make them do anything you want to. They're a puppet. The thing is, in medicine that they're not telling you, my book was MD License to Kill, and by the way, I was filled full of antifreeze on April the 1st of 80, and I mean, I should have gone into a coma and died. What was in the book, part of it was Warren and Rosina Matthews were pathologists at Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta. That's Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor. I ran in a campaign and wrote about him. And his plane went down in 83, and I became a candidate. And Larry Flint, who was the guy that was programmed to shoot him, he flew me out to his home a couple of times, and then he ended up, because he was telling the truth about a lot of things, the Bloomingdale's, all of it, he was putting Butner and tortured and his power of attorney taken. So I've never talked to him since. Or anything. But my point is, Warren and Rosina Matthews knew about how deaths were major fear of natural cause. You can cause suicide, heart attacks, you name it. You can, in other words, you can create an illness and you can cure it. So to make a long and short of it all, rather than the other video that I've uploaded, you really can't hear it. I hope you can hear this one. The short and the tall of all of it is you don't need medical equipment. Okay, I work for doctors. I work for Urban Medical. I did payroll. I did inventory. This is back in 73. So you can imagine all the updated equipment to do mammograms, to do, you name it. You walk into a hospital and you start looking around and seeing how much equipment the doctors, you wouldn't need that many of them anymore. You would only need them in imagery, and you imagine an illness and you cure it. And if you don't start the illness, you don't need a cure. So that's where it's at. You wouldn't need all the things that are associated with a hospital or a clinic or doctors or nurses. Or, and here's the one I want you to pay attention to, what has happened to all the funds for breast cancer? You would think over the years that a cure would have been found for some of these illnesses, all right? Jerry Lewis, look at all the money that's poured into his foundation. I'm not saying anything about Jerry Lewis. I'm just saying what happened to all the money and why not a cure? How about the cancer research in Marlo Thomas in Memphis? You would think all the money and doctors and all this and research that grants are given to the colleges, to this and that, they would have come up with some kind of cure by now. Well, they have. Tesla, early 30s. It's what you create and you can cure an illness. It's almost like John Lennon's song, Imagine, because that's what you're doing, imagining and the belief. And there's lists of this. Oh, this can all be proven. But then what would have happened to Obamacare? What would happen to Medicare, Medicaid? All of these things that lead up to, if you take out the medical need of people, your economy, so now your New World Order's in place. That's Elizabeth Windsor Mountbatten. That is Obama. He even made that in a speech his tapes recently. You've got Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the Bilderbergers. You've got the Roosevelts that helped kidnap me. You've got the Kennedys. You've got Obama has got Carolina for a ambassadorship to Japan. Isn't that cute? You got the criminals guarding the hen house, so to speak. And by the way, one of my relatives, she was Queen of the Netherlands. She's abdicated to her son. But that's where the war tribunal is. Now then, she and Elizabeth, and I'm sad to say it, are part of the New World Order. They've been filmed and everything, and so is Charles. Do you think for one moment they're going to sell all this? Anyway, I don't guess I meant to say that much more. That's it in a nutshell. They're using mental health to masquerade as, or mind control to masquerade as mental health. They program people to kill, shoot, run the car in the river and drown. And then, like Sandy Hook shootings, James Holmes, Aurora, Colorado, why he's a nutcase. He's exhibiting symptoms of mental illness, so they say, being treated and locked up for a crime he didn't commit, because he's a victim too. And all of these, the things that have happened over the last years, the Virginia Tech shooting right next door to me, and you've got the Fort Hood shooter. He was a psychiatrist. He was born here in Roanoke, and he went to school at Tech. So there's lists of them, going back to the Wayne Williams, going way on back. And so they attribute it to mental illness when it's not at all. So anything you say or do, someone can say it's out of line or that's not right. And I heard the woman, by the way, the Navy Yard shooter, what was his name? His last name is Aaron Alexis. That was one of them. Doran, ex-cop California, about a year ago, that was one. So the woman that bashed into the stopped at her car at the White House, and then they ended up shooting her. They're saying she had postpartum depression. She was a dental hygienist. Did you ever stop and think that that's one of the programming, and she was programmed? It's nothing to do with mental illness. So mental illness is a catch-all for a weapon using mind control.